Hey guys, welcome to Inbounder's first ever podcast episode. My name is Diya Prakash and I'm the creative strategist here at Inbounders. With me is...
Hey, I'm Arundhati and I am the copywriter at Inbounders.
So in today's episode, right, we're going to be talking all about rebranding. And I just have to say that I'm so excited for this because this is the first time that we're starting our podcast series.
Yeah.
And we're starting it with a very, very interesting topic. It's something that I find extremely interesting about the whole field of marketing, right?
Exactly.
Which is rebranding.
Yeah.
Yes.
Let's go.
So in terms of rebranding, right, now we'll have to get back to what branding itself is, right? Now when you talk about branding, a brand itself, it's a company's identity.
Yeah, it's what the public remembers about a brand.
Yeah, so when we talk about rebranding, it has a number of different intentions. One can either be to sort of, avoid a crisis. One can be to bring up a new identity, and also sometimes, brands lose relevancy over time.
Yeah, a fresh start.
Yeah, so they need a fresh start. So that's the whole topic about rebranding, and we'll be diving into a bunch of different things.
Yeah.
Right? A bunch of different brands, what they've done, and yeah, let's get started.
Yes. So quite a few big brands have had rebranding strategies in the past few years. Let's say Lamborghini, even Pringles, Facebook, even McDonald's did.
Right. So we'll have to talk about the first one that you mentioned because that really caught my eye.
Yeah, Lamborghini. Yes.
Yeah, Lamborghini. So now what they did was that in 20 years they changed their logo for the first time.
Oh.
Yeah, and what they did was so subtle that the layman eye wouldn't be able to catch it. Which is, they just made their logo a little bit sleeker, right? Now, like there's a very much bigger message behind that, and that's something that we can talk about here, right? When we're diving deep into these things, like the change is so simple, right? They just went. Can you tell me a little bit about that, about the logo?
So I think the logo is a bit more sleek now.
Right.
They made it, like you said, the change is very subtle, but it's evidently sleek.
Yeah. So one is their whole intention behind that is the transformation change.
Okay.
Right? And it also focuses on sustainability and decarbonization. Now, I think at today's day and age, right, it's extremely important for brands to be mindful
Of course,
about being sustainable because the impact that it has is not just on the people, but it's also on the planet, it's on the animals, it's everything. So in turn, in a few years, if none of these brands are conscious, then it's going to have a huge impact on all of us.
They have to consider the future, basically.
Yeah, it's not even a choice anymore. It's,
it's a
it's
necessity.
a must-have. Yeah. So
talking about logos, I'm so sorry to interrupt you, but I just want to know something.
Yeah.
Pringles just changed their iconic logo, and I want to know what you feel about that.
Honestly, initially I wasn't a big fan.
Yeah, I get
because I loved the previous logo. It was so fun. And then they just went ahead and decided to make it 2D. Like, how is that fair?
Yeah, Mr. P is hairless now.
Right.
And also his bow tie is way bigger.
Right. And I think that when I kind of understood a little better and kept seeing it, it started growing on me, and now I get it, And one of the reasons that all of these brands are going from 3D logos to 2D logos, right? Like that's like why?
The logo is a bit more flatter now. The 2D logo, not gonna lie, is a bit more cleaner.
Yeah, I agree. So let's talk about that, right?
Oh yeah, okay.
So a lot of these brands have gone from having their 3D logos and have converted it into 2D. If you think about it, now before the computer era started, right, we didn't have that much access to going all out and making all this fun stuff.
Yeah.
But with the wave of computers, there was all this new technology, there was all this new software to sit and design these logos and make it more fun.
Yeah.
And brands were going all out with it, right? They were making it 3D, putting all these colors and effects and everything. And I liked that. I liked how fun it was. And it's kind of now a part of our childhood because when you think back and you think about Fanta and all these different brands, you remember that fun logo that it has.
Different colors, textures, everything. It was just a full on package.
Yeah. And over time, slowly, they start taking elements one by one, and now it's all clean and very sleek.
Minimalistic.
Yeah. And the important thing to note here is brands are seeing the power in minimalistic logos, minimalistic designs, right? And so when you talk about these logo changes and everything, that's not just what rebranding is about.
Yeah, that's one of the misconceptions. People think rebranding is just about a fresh start.
Right.
But as you know, crisis management is very important for a business. And rebranding can help a lot with crisis management. So let's say Mindra, I'm quite sure you've heard about this.
Right.
Mindra had to revamp their iconic logo because people filed a complaint against the logo. So quite a few social workers and social media users, they found the logo to be very obscene and like
right.
Yeah, it was offensive to women. So they had to revamp it.
So that's the thing about that logo change, right? I don't think 80% of the people saw what the social worker was trying to convey until it was pointed out.
Once somebody points it out, you can't unsee it.
You can't unsee it. And I think that's an important thing to keep in mind, that as a brand owner, right, when do you take the decision that now I'm going to change my logo? Because so many people have so many varied opinions, and I think that's the skill that they have, that they know.
Instead of justifying it, just evading the crisis was a better option.
Right, so I think that makes perfect sense. And after the whole crisis started, even if that was not the intention, I think it was a good idea to change it, right?
The changes are very simple. It's just subtle changes, but it made a difference.
It did.
That's all what the audience wants.
True, I agree completely. So, like, here we're talking about crisis management, right? But there are also brands that take up rebranding not just to, evade a crisis or a fresh start. They do it to expand because they have much bigger plans for the brand itself. Like if you see in October 2021, Mark Zuckerberg's company Facebook decided to rebrand to Meta.
Yeah.
And that's something that we are all very familiar with now and are actively using, especially as a marketing agency.
It's a big part of our life.
It is, because now all the major social media platforms come under Meta. WhatsApp, Facebook, Instagram, right? And all of them, even though their features are kind of similar, then like the use and the intention of each app is so distinct.
Yeah.
Like when you think of Instagram and when you think of WhatsApp, there's a clear distinction in your mind itself. Correct? And so also the Mark Zuckerberg talked about this, that his plans for Meta is not just a social media platform. It's much, much bigger. He's trying to create a universe. Metaverse, exactly. Right? So his plans are so much bigger. He's trying to give people an immersive experience, right? And that is such a key point for how the future is going to be like. If you know a little bit about the metaverse, right? It's some people are already actively using it. There's this whole headset on. There is a life there. It's kind of like an alternate life where there are real people, there are real things happening. And I find that change quite scary, but it's something that we'll have to accept and adapt to as well.
Yeah, the possibilities are immense.
Right.
Can't lie.
And also I think there is a lot of potential with that on how it's going to affect businesses and how it's going to affect our day-to-day. I want to conclude by saying thank you so much for watching, and thanks for being here and making this such a fun episode.
Exactly, and we are going to come back with much more
Better content, and stay tuned for that.